to week 2 of CJS485, Methods of Research in Criminal Justice. Let's start. I hope we all had a first good week, and now let's dive into our second week and see what we have in store. As you can see, we have a breakdown of some of our assignments. We have a reading article, which will be in Chapter 3 and Chapter 8 and 9 of the APA Publications Manual. We have another journal entry to build upon our journal entry from last week. We have some lecture material. We have a criminal justice research guide, a library tutorial, and finally we have 2 deliverables this week, our discussion board and our quiz. So let's take a look at each one of these. We have our module learning objectives, and I'll allow you to read through those and look at all the learning objectives that we're wanting to reach this week. In our reading assignments, like I talked earlier, we're going to be in Chapter 3, the Ethics and Criminal Justice Research. And then we're going to dive into Chapter 8 and 9 of the APA Publications Manual. Now, with the APA Publications Manual, if that is a book that you do not have, understand that this information is readily available on the internet, and it should be information that you have all been familiar with your coursework here at Cal Baptist, that this is just references APA standards and how we are going to address our writing. So let's look at our Week 2 journal prompt. Just to take a step back, remember your journal prompts are going to be entered on a weekly basis, and then we're ultimately going to take all those journal entries, the feedback that I've given to you on your journal entries, and you are going to make a journal presentation at the end of this course. So for our second week journal prompt, we're going to once again be looking at those, putting it all together, those short articles that we find in our text. And this one you're going to find on page 68 and 69. And in your journal, briefly reflect on the ethical issue that arose during the described studies. So I want you to describe at least 2 ethical concepts and how the researcher addressed those concerns, and what are the pros and cons of the ethical boundaries in the situation you chose, and what are the benefits, and was the benefits worth the cost in your opinion? So once again, write on your journal entry, and then we will ultimately be putting all those together for your journal presentation. We have a research guide, review all pages and videos associated with the Criminal Justice Research Guide on the library website located at the link given. I've also included a handout that we complete. Watch all 8 Library 101 video tutorials, review the basic research method tutorial PowerPoint, read evaluating sources, and read identify scholarly journals. So once again, all of these are just going to be resources that you can use that will help and aid you to navigate through this course. And now let's look at the 2 graded deliverables for this week. Our first is we are going to have a second, discussion board following up on our discussion board that we did last week. Based on the information learned in this week's assignment, locate at least 1 scholarly article related to your research problem and review it. In your discussion board post, summarize the article, identify why you believe it is relevant, and complete a properly formatted APA citation for the article. In addition, discuss any ethical problems that may exist with the article, and or describe whether or not the author adhered to a Christian perspective during their research and why you came with that conclusion. And with that, there is the grading requirements and the grading protocol and all the different dimensions, starting with our first is the addressing the prompt, responding to others, the Christian perspective, and finally our spelling and grammar. Now, like our other discussion posts, this is going to replace that dialogue that we would typically have in the classroom setting. So my expectations of all of you is that you do an in-depth scholarly response to this. I want all of you to present your information early in the week, and you will be expected to reply to 2 of your colleagues. And when you are replying to 2 of your colleagues, I expect that it is not just agreeing with them, saying, "Oh, I agree, well done, well put." I want you to add to the academic conversation. and that is going to be our discussion board. And then finally, we have our quiz. This quiz will cover the components and the concepts that were covered in this week's readings. You have 2 attempts to complete the quiz, and you will receive the highest grade. So there you go. That takes into account our second week's materials. I look forward to reviewing all of your submitted work. And once again, as always, and this is going to be a sentiment that's carried through this course, if you have any issues, concerns, if you need help, please reach out. If I'm not hearing from you, I have the expectation that everything is going well. So let's all have a successful week 2, and I look forward to talking to you all real soon. Bye for now.